This lesson is all about the surface area of a sphere, and we have our equation, which you noticed when you peeled your orange, is that when you peeled your orange, it filled 4 circles, and the area of each circle is pi r squared, where r is the radius of the sphere. So the surface area of a sphere formula is 4 times pi times radius squared. Let's see how this applies when we go to solve problems. In this problem, we're going to find the surface area when the radius of the sphere is 4 centimeters. In the first way, over on the left, we are going to approximate pi as being 3.14. So we have surface area equals 4 times pi, which is 3.14, times radius squared. So that is 4 times 3.14 times our radius was 4 times 4 squared. And if I put that all in my calculator, I end up getting that the surface area is equal to 296 hundredths centimeters squared. So when I approximate pi as being 3.14, that is what I get. If I leave it in terms of pi, I've got the surface area is 4 pi r squared. That doesn't change. This is a little bit less work because I don't have to put 3.14 into my calculator. Instead, I do 4 times radius squared, so I'm going to kind of flip the order. Radius was 4 still, times pi, and I just leave pi there. 4 times 4 squared gives me 64, and I put my pi, and my units are centimeters squared because it is surface area. So these two answers are almost equivalent. This one with 64 pi is going to be more exact because we didn't approximate pi as being 3.14. But they are both valid answers. It just depends on how you are asked to answer the question. Let's check out our next example. Here's a different kind of problem. This time, you are asked to find the surface area when you're given the circumference, so you're not given the radius. We remember that the surface area equals 4 pi r squared. And so we need to find the radius. So what we've got is the circumference is 37 and 68 hundredths of an inch is our circumference. Well, if we remember the formula for circumference, it's 2 pi r. Write this down in your notes because you will have to solve problems like this. Okay, so circumference is 2 pi r. So I've got 2 times 3.14 times the radius equals the circumference. So I'm going to do 2 times 3.14 gives me 6 and 28 hundredths times r equals this. Now if I want to get r by itself, I've got to divide by 6 and 28 hundredths. And that gives me a radius of 6. So now I have my radius. Now that I have my radius of 6, I can plug it in to 4 pi r squared, and I'm going to leave this in terms of pi. So I'm going to do 4 times 6 squared times pi, switch my order a little bit, and 4 times 36 gives me 144 pi. That was in inches, and so the surface area is in inches squared. Okay, so again, if you need to find your radius when you have circumference, remember circumference is 2 times pi times the length of your radius. You multiply these out, gives you 6 and 28/100 times r equals your circumference. So then you would divide circumference by 6 and 28/100 to get your radius. Let's move on to our next problem. Here's the last kind of problem that you're going to learn how to do in this video. Find the radius when given the surface area. So we've got our formula for surface area we're going to have to use every time, which is 4 pi r squared. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plug in what we know. I see that the surface area is 1,384 and 74/100. That equals 4. I know pi can be approximated as 3.14 times radius squared. Now I need to multiply these together, and I end up getting 12 and 56/100 r squared. This side hasn't changed yet. This is times r squared, so I'm going to divide. And when you do 1,384 and 74/100 divided by 12 and 56/100, you get radius squared is equal to 110 and 25/100. To get rid of the squared, you take the square root. I certainly don't have this memorized. I would have to use my calculator. The square root of 110 and 25/100 is equal to 10 and 5/10. Since it's distance, we only use the positive, so it's 10 and 5/10 meters. So there is some solving of equations, but you basically need to remember the opposite of times is divide, and then to get rid of a square, you take the square root. Good luck.